is
More
what
like
it
go and
is.
take a Napoleon.
Nah, see, you know
End
the
the show
worst thing
right
is,
now.
yeah, I'll be trying. You know, what? I knew he had one of them. I knew he had a fucking Napoleon in him somewhere. Hello and welcome back to the CineLads Letterboxd 250. Hello and welcome back to the CineLads Letterboxd 250 podcast. I am your boy, Big She's, aka Sheezy Bone a lot. No, great, not too bad. Hey, you know
No,
what?
that's awful.
They're not all gonna be winners, much like our film this week. Anyway, I am joined by my white champ.
Oh, me. I'm Kyle.
And I'm
And
Simon.
Yeah, great. Always love the fucking positivity and energy you bring to this thing, pal. Don't let no one tell you different. So, guys, this week, as you may have gathered, we're doing Napoleon, 1927 film. Um, before we talk about the film, obviously, let's give you a couple of quick facts before we go into the synopsis. It was originally directed by Abel Gance. It was reconstructed, the version that we watched, by Kevin Brownlow. Brownlow, that's what they call you, Simon, isn't it? It was that's terrible. That was way oof. It's gonna be one of those ones. You know what, man? I've had some loaded fries and I'm on the edge. It's gonna be one of those days. All right. Before we get into what we thought about the film and how we feel about it overall, very quickly, what I want to do is I've spun a circle. Are we gonna see who's gonna read the synopsis for this film? Oh my God, it's Simon. Simon.
Okay.
However, to be fair, because the film is 5.5 hours long, I thought about this and I want to make sure you're okay with this as well, Kyle. We're gonna give you 50 seconds on the clock to tell us what happens in Napoleon. So whenever you're ready, three, two, one.
Napoleon 1927 is pretty much just the first 30 years of Napoleon's rise to predominance. Uh, what was I going to say next? I had this loaded actually.
someone didn't watch the film. I
No, I
don't
watched the
blame
film.
them.
It's the first 30 years of his life, basically. That's pretty much it.
That'll do.
Yeah.
So that was, to be fair, you are getting better at this, because I was still under 20 seconds. You were just like that was about 17-ish seconds. So you are getting better at this, like, man. So the synopsis from Letterboxd says that it's a biopic of Napoleon Bonaparte, tracing the Corsican's career from his school days, where a snowball fight is staged like a military campaign, to his flight from Corsica through the French Revolution, where a real storm is intercut with the political storm, and the terror, culminating in his triumphant invasion of Italy in 1797. So, shall we just get into it? Shall we just get
Who
into
needs
Napoleon?
who needs to know? That's my point. Who needs to know all of that for a synopsis?
It was a
That
lot.
was an awful synopsis.
Yeah. If I'm being
That's
honest with you,
everything.
as far as synopsises go for films that we've seen, yeah, this was the worst one.
Jesus
I
Christ.
will say, because if I was writing a tagline for this film, I'd be like, Waterloo. I barely fucking know her. You know what I mean?
That was worse than what Letterboxd, but
Oh God, and that was a very low. But listen, we love you, Letterboxd, sponsor the pod. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. Let's get into what people have really come here for. Let's start with what did we like about the film? Kyle, do you want to go first?
no. Do you want to go first?
I might need an ISO on this, right? Because Simon, do you have anything that you want to share that you actually like about this film?
What do you mean by this? Do you have a lot to say? Is that
I
why you
I
want to go first?
I have a lot to say. I'm gonna call an ISO, but my ISO will definitely take us into the next section. So you
Okay.
any
Okay.
positive you want to share?
Okay. Yeah, actually, yeah. Initially, when the runtime when we discussed this, I wasn't really up for it. 5 hours as an obligation is just not a nice endeavor. But by the time the film kicked off, the first set piece with the snowball fight, which is still a point I'm going to make in my negatives for the film as well. It still did catch my attention, and I did pretty much start to enjoy it after every hour mark, taking a break and whatnot. But ultimately, everything that I did like about it is purely technical. So it had a good screenplay. The story was interesting. It did split up. Given it was 5 hours, it was expected that that the screenplay was going to be eventually good. You have so much time to just flesh out the entire story. So good screenplay, good editing. Pretty much every transition of early cinema was here. They had those nice superimposed montages, especially during the revolution when it goes yellow, and it's especially when he's having visions and it tries to project the visions onto screen. It does that pretty well. So I do give it a lot of credit because you have to remember this is 1927. For a film from 1927, this is still film in its primitivity. It's very like infancy, sorry, rather. And that did catch my attention and that pretty much maintained my attention for the most part. It maintained going back to the screenplay and editing, they did maintain momentum pretty well, I think, in my opinion, for a 5 hour film. The only part, which quick tangent, it is a negative, but I won't repeat it in the second part. This is just what came to mind right now. Is that it does get a bit boring once after the revolution, and he starts to have those parties where the revolution's failed, he's rising to power. That's the only part that I don't really like with the screenplay. I thought the film just kind of just dipped a bit down. But yeah, that's pretty much pretty groundbreaking. What else did I put down here? Yeah, pretty groundbreaking, especially the end. The end. Oh my goodness, the end. Imagine being in 1927. It's pretty much still black and white, and this guy pulls out three different, back to back, blue, white, red in the French colors.
That was tough.
Oh, I can only,
Listen,
that
I
was
will say that's one of
oh
that's
my
one of my
goodness.
few like positives. That
Im-
shit was tough.
like
As far as editing a film,
imagine,
tough.
imagine seeing that. What was the name of the triptych, whatever it's called? Seeing that for the first time, and especially even I think we would have generally enjoyed this film a lot more as well if we watched this. And this part of the film pretty almost makes the entire 5 hour worth it, in my opinion, because I didn't expect it at all.
Yeah.
Even for me, like because even since 1927, you don't see this.
Hmm.
But it's the fact that for 1927, you didn't get these landscape shots the way they did back then. So they would just get three different cameras like they did in this film, or how many ever it is, and just put them simultaneously and put the shots together, and you get this massive, beautiful landscape shot
Yeah.
of whatever part of France they were in. Oh, sorry, Italy they were in at the end of the film. So those superimposed shots, that again, the editing. So yeah, pretty much just mostly technical. So
It was quite endearing how it wasn't perfect the way they lined up. Like it wasn't smooth,
exactly, yeah.
but like even you could
Yeah,
just still imagine people watching that for the first time at the time, like it blowing their minds.
yeah. It
Um,
was
I I agree with you, Simon. On like a technical level, I was in awe to be fair because I read your review of is it Metropolis, like, and that was a film from like the 1920s or something.
Venice, yeah. Based on the
I
period.
haven't seen the film myself, and your review was it's a shame to see how film has regressed. And obviously I hadn't seen the film, and I was like, this guy, man, 1920s. What are you talking about? There's no way this film is. I watched this, and there was never a second where I questioned what I was seeing on screen.
Yeah,
I thought that they would have like these epic shots and all these extras, and you could tell like obviously they didn't have the ability to do special effects back then, so they have
yeah,
filmed that room to the brim with as many extras as they could. Just the way they would shoot certain scenes and the way the camera would move, it was jaw dropping. It's like, and I agree with you. There was points where I was watching that and I was like, this is better than what we see today from a technical aspect. I was watching a film on Amazon Prime that probably cost 200 million pounds, and they were in a car, and I was questioning. I was like, well, that's a green screen. Are the actors even there at the same time? Is the car real? Whereas you watch this in the rain and the ships and the smoke and the fire, it was jaw dropping. It's a shame I hated every second I was watching it, but like you still have to appreciate what you're looking at.
I just want to piggyback off you guys as well, and then we'll use that to sort of transition to this next point because I feel like we've all got some bits that we want to some nits that we want to pick. As they say, I agree with you guys from a technical standpoint. I thought it was amazing. I did a bit of research into what that technique was that they used at the end. It was called polyvision, and this is the only film that's ever used polyvision. So that special
Yeah.
form of widescreen, which is like, you are right. I wasn't expecting it to come in like that. I thought it was really cool. And visually, I will say, even the cinematography was stunning. Like it's not a boring film to look at, right? It's got some gorgeous shots. It's got like, and the fact that it is 1926, like this is pre-World War II. Do you know what I mean? Like that's insane. Like they're coming out with
This
stuff like
film's
this, and
nearly public domain.
yeah,
This
I mean, you
film's
can
so
watch.
old.
I find that you can, if somebody wants to watch this, by the way, you can watch the whole thing on Wikipedia, on the Wikipedia page for this film.
That's good.
Genuinely, it's all on there. I'm being completely serious because I was doing some research about. I wanted to find out how long it takes to put together and all this stuff. Just to, I take my job very seriously as a CineLad, guys. Okay, I take my job very seriously as a CineLad. It is very innovative in the shots and the style, and not just for the time, which obviously it was. Like it was the first, like the cuts and the way it's put together and the way we're doing everything. It's great in that sense. I will say, so he planned for this to be the first film in a trilogy of not trilogy, I think
Six.
six films. Thank you.
Yeah.
What you call that? A quad? No, fuck it, man. I don't even give a shit. He planned for this to be six six
Sextuple.
films, right? There we
Sextuple,
go.
isn't it? Yeah.
You know what? And God gave you a mic in case I got shortness of breath. You know what I mean? But so it's basically he's gonna do six films on his life. I don't know if you guys watched the 2023 Napoleon. Right?
Oh
Did you
yeah, of
guys
course.
watch that the Ridley Scott film? I really enjoyed that film, and I enjoyed that film more than this. When that film came out, I remember really enjoying it, and it was a good time. And as I was after I watched this, I did some research. I just wanted to see what the temperature was like amongst like what people thought of this and vice versa. Do you know there's dorks, like real fucking dorks, who just love Napoleon? Like people who are like mad at that film because they were like, there's a scene where he goes out into with the cavalry, but he wasn't a cavalryman. He actually manned the cannon. And I'm like, fuck, shut up. Who the fuck cares? How are you gonna glaze this brother? Like it's so stupid. And I'll be honest with you, this film was built by a glazer. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, there's too much glazing. Like the way they're on Napoleon's dick is crazy. There is a not minimal chance that he who shall not be named saw this movie and was like, yo, France, you're looking a little delectable. You know what I mean? He's thinking, take over Europe. That's a good, because he never finished this film. This could have directly affected everything. Here's my thing. Yeah, let's get into it. I've wrote some things down here. All right, and I just want to
One
say,
sec. I do have
oh, go
another
on.
positive.
Well, say your last positive before we
Two
get in.
things before we before we move on, because I know I'll forget to bring them up with the rant we're about to go on. The use of color I thought was extraordinary. How they would like
Oh,
it
yeah.
freshened up each like segment. And also the guy who played Napoleon, there was a gravitas about him. Like he, he had this like such a distinctive look, and like I forgot about the Ridley Scott version, and I was watching this and I was like, who would play him today? And I thought of Joaquin Phoenix, and then remembered that is what happened. But Simon, I can see you want to make a point.
Have you guys not realized who the adult Napoleon actor looks like?
I would have said Joaquin Phoenix. I can't think.
British panelist. We used to see him a lot on a lot of British TV show panels.
Oh, Jimmy Savile.
No, okay, mate. Don't
Yeah,
ruin the game.
yeah. No,
Who?
I don't know who.
It took me a while. So I had to search like
Oh,
British
Noel
bands, British rock
Fielding.
stars.
Noel
There you
Fielding.
go. Yeah, he looks
Actually,
exactly like
he
Noel
does. He does
Fielding.
actually.
Exactly like him. It took me
No,
so
no.
long before I was like, who does this guy look like?
Noel Fielding had a show on like Apple TV or something called Dick Turner or something, or like it was some like it was set like in the past, and he kind of looks exactly how Napoleon does it here. If you like search a picture
Yeah.
of that, he genuinely looks exactly like that. What was your
I
other
wonder
point
if
you
he's
wanted to
watched the
bring up?
film.
I mean,
No, it was just about the color and the performance. I thought he carried the film on his back rather well.
so
And the
jumping
score,
on.
and the score,
Oh, so score, yeah, score was fantastic as well. By the way, definitely give a big shout out to the
score
score.
carried.
Um, so let's just start first and foremost. I think I did like the adult actor a lot, and he did have that crazy aura. I will say that he was aura farming a lot in this film. However, him as a kid, at first I was like, oh, the bullies are so mean to him. He's a very weird looking kid. I'll be honest with you, all the kids looked fucking weird as hell. They all looked weird as hell. And I think they
I feel
all
like
kind of
everyone
deserve what
looked
they
weird
got.
as hell.
They, apart from adult Napoleon, who's sick as fuck. Do you know that girl that was like in love with Napoleon like later in the film? I did some like more research into the film, obviously. There was a girl, her name was like Villa something like Via Violetta or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, that was a Disney Channel show. But like,
VNL. It's probably you
Yeah,
you put in your review as well.
you know, past me, you're on job. So VNL, yeah, she was basically supposed to represent France and how France was in love with Napoleon and like his love for the France versus his love for Josephine. That's some J. Cole song bullshit, bro. That's some if hip hop was a woman, if my gun was a girl, that's some bullshit, bro. I don't want to see that shit. I'm sorry. The fact that they were running that same tired gimmick in 1927 is so fucking whack. Oh my god. I, I'm not, you know, the people who are like, we need 100% accuracy for like historical biopics. I don't agree with that because I do think a lot of it, storytelling or like the emotional aspect of it, brings you into a character even more sometimes. I don't need to know exact dates. I don't need to know. Obviously, for the big stuff, there's certain things you can't shift, but like, you know what I mean? It's always worth keeping it interesting. That's just me personally, and that's why I do prefer the 2023 one because of the relationship between him and Josephine. That kind of brings it down. But to quote two famous people here, right? Two very famous art people, right? One is this great critic, Peter Griffin. The film insists upon itself, and I think it's just doing a bit too much, man. It's too much on Napoleon. I can't respect that. You know what I mean? Like, because you know what happened afterwards, and I get it that he wanted to make like six, and maybe this was just the way he was doing it. But I'm like, this shit is just not. It's not great. And you know what? Never in my life have I ever so keenly felt time slipping from my fucking grasp. Like, never have I sat somewhere and physically felt the seconds tick, 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 tick. This was 5.5 hours and it felt like homework. Movies have never in my life felt like homework. Even when I had to watch movies for homework, yeah, they've never felt like homework. This felt like fucking homework, right? And this is a testament to the pod because we could have lied. We could have lied to you, right? What the fuck is the audience gonna know? We could have lied. We could have read the Wikipedia, right? We could have made some shit up. We could have read a couple of Letterboxd reviews and been like, "Oh wow, the mise en scène, whatever the fuck." You know what I mean? We could have done that shit. We didn't do it. We watched this film for the audience, right? We watched it because we're honest with the CineLads. This shit was this was so boring, bro. This film was so boring, and I get what you mean about the plot being propulsive and like going from A to B, and I understand that you were like, oh, I could, because you guys understand what was going on sometimes. If I hadn't watched Napoleon and know about his life already, I was like, why the fuck does this matter? Why does this matter? Like, you'd see some shit happen sometimes, yeah, and you were just like, listen, it's just, and if I didn't have to watch this for the pod, I would have turned it off half an hour in. I would have turned it off half an hour in when he sees the eagle, and I would have been like, fucking, like, cool. Because that's my rule. My rule is if it's a TV show, 3 episodes. If it's a film, 30 minutes, and then we go from there. I'm gonna take a breather now as I collect my thoughts for the second part of this rant. Kyle, what do you think? What did you not like about the movie?
So, when I started this film, so I saw the length, I saw the year it was released, and then I think before we started, you was like, "Oh, you guys do know it's like it's a silent film." I've never watched a silent film as far as I'm aware. I haven't seen any like Charlie Chaplin films. I haven't seen any Buster Keaton. Like as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen. So you've got to understand for the 26 years of my life, I have watched films a certain way. The films we have watched so far on the 250 list, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have liked those, but our tastes evolved and they change. My little puny brain wasn't ready for this fucking film. I won't lie. The first, I think it was the first hour when he was young, I actually was sort of into it. Like when he was at school and he got bullied, like at least there was like an emotional hook there. There was moments of like levity as well. The moment it jumped, I think it had me for like half an hour. I'd say maybe by the 2 hour mark. I think it's like the first scene where it's like there's like a battle on water or there's a chase on water. After that part, the images were going in, but nothing else was.
Yeah,
Like, because we have full-time jobs and like we have lives. Like watching it 5 hours in a row is just not feasible. So I staggered it out throughout the week. Like I have no other choice. Like I could lie to you and pretend I planned out a whole day and watched it. But like you said, when I knew I had to watch parts of the film, I was dreading it. Like I was like, oh, I have to do this. I didn't want to do it. And then I would say the last act, I was just clapped out. Like I was watching it and I was just like, I just wanted to go to sleep. It was like 6 o'clock in the day and I wanted to go to sleep.
I,
Derek, did
I
you have a point or did you?
I just want to say something, and you making great points, and I agree with everything. Simon, if all our video watches, Simon just fucking blanked out with Kyle's entire point. I just went,
I
I
can hear what
stood
he's
at the
saying. Even
he just
he even
no
says
response,
levity.
no response. His whole face just went fucking blank, and I just saw it.
Oh my
So
God.
I apologize for that. I agree with your points completely, Kyle. And I want to say I was somebody who did actually watch it all in 1 5 hour sitting. Right, 1 5.5 hour sitting.
No, you did
I
not.
watched it one. Yeah, yesterday I sat and I watched it in one. No. I watched the first 3.5 hours yesterday, and I finished the last 2 hours this morning. But that's still like I think if I'd known it was an act system, I would have probably just done an act a day. I will say, did you guys find it for a film that's supposed to be this biopic and like kind of telling this comprehensive portrait of his life? Like Simon said originally, like the first 30 years, you don't actually ever see how he gets to that position. He just goes from school, and then he's like, oh, it's his first campaign or whatever, whatever. You don't ever really see how it happens, and I think shit like that it was lost for me. Simon, what do you not like about the film?
Yeah, I actually thought the film was pretty good. I don't know, you guys seem to hate it so much. Like, I think Carl's point was that it was not Carl's point, Sharik's point, in fact, that it was even though it's 5 hours, that the film's somehow bloated. Is that what you're trying to say?
It definitely feels bloated. There's a lots of places there's lots of places I'd trim the fat on that,
Well, it felt
In
bloated
a
and empty at the same time.
and it felt
I don't know how that's
unfinished.
possible.
Wow.
It felt unfinished as well. Like I know the ending that you love, the aura farming of when he stands in your native lands, by the way. Anyway, but as he has taken those over, because if this ended with him in Pakistan, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be as high as you are. Let me tell you that right now, pal. You know what I mean? But
The British are already over there, mate.
it's in that bad fam. You know what I mean? It was just fucking. It was just so. It felt very unfinished, and it was also like we have this habit, I think, sometimes, guys, and I think this is a safe place to say it as on the CineLads podcast. I think we as a community, and love to all my fellow cinephiles, but there's maybe a good 12% chunk of you guys that I hate because there's just something about people who like love to gas shit up, right? Who love to gas shit up and be like, nah, this is the how could you ever watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness when Napoleon 1927 is here? Right? You're telling me you don't want to sit for 5.5 hours to understand the first 30 years of, I bet you got excited when you saw John Krasinski, huh? Huh? That's who this movie's made for. Like, there's a reason. I was looking at our overall list that we're doing. The bottom 50 are the most eclectic like films purely because of people like that 11%. When you get into the 200, you're kind of a bit more like, oh, I see why we got here, why we're hitting certain ones. And that's not always a bad thing because we saw Core Invaders Ada, we saw you know we've seen some good films
Macario.
throughout. Macario, even Macario was great, but like we've seen good films throughout this process. This just was not for me, but I gave it a fair shake. I gave it a fair try. I went into it with an open mind, like I do with everything else. Simon, I would love your final thoughts on what you didn't like about the film, if anything, and then let's get into the ratings, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we get it. You have MCU brain. I get it, man. I get it. Anyway, but similar to your point about how it wanks over Napoleon so much, that's essentially my point as well. It's there's a word for it as well. It's hagiography, basically, where you give the subject, you treat them almost like they're God, basically. Like, oh wow, so amazing. Look at the accomplishments. And to be fair, the film is called in French Napoleon vous par, the director's name, which means basically
Oh, through the
Napoleon in
eyes.
the eyes of the
Yeah.
director. So it is basically by its definition that the film is wanking over the Napoleon. So it shouldn't be surprising. But
So
even
would
then,
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I
Even
didn't mean
then,
to.
it does do it does like, tug away at a like very hard to the point where it's almost like treats him as like God. Because when that snowball fight I mentioned earlier, the whole point is that Napoleon was destined to be who he was because look at him now, the child commanding a goddamn snowball fight as a child, as if he was a war general. There's like is and then this, later on, when he finally gets towards the end, what was it? That scene you kind of mentioned it when he's lost at sea. Did you say you didn't like that part?
No, I think from that moment on, I was clocked out.
Clocked out. So that part that part of the film, he's lost at sea. He's ran away from home. He's going back to France, and you get these superimposed pictures. One of France collapsing, and him lost at sea. One of the cards that comes up says the winds of the revolution is pushing him towards France to save France at the same time the revolution was dying. So again, the film is like it treats him as if he was fulfilling a
Anakin Skywalker.
prophecy. Yeah, exactly. Before, so imagine that. You reckon George Lucas watch this?
Nah, listen,
Uh,
Did he
because
feel the
so
midichlorians in France?
it, tr
I
it
hate to be
treats
that
him.
guy.
It treats.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Simon. I hate
Oh,
to be that guy. Midichlorians wouldn't be in France; it'd be in the person. It's your.
oh
Yeah,
my.
I hate to be that guy. George, I know you listen to the podcast. I told him. Dave Filoni, new head of Lucasfilm. I know you're an avid listener. I told him it's not his fault. He don't know this shit. He don't know.
If there was a Disney logo before this film, Sherrick would have loved it, man.
Oh my God. It's sponsored
I,
by Disney in the corner.
nah, I enjoyed it more when they had the Apple logo for 2023.
Guys, this episode is sponsored by what's it? Disney Plus. Wonder Man is
Disney
recently been
XD.
released.
Can
Now
I
I'll
make
go.
one final point before
Oh,
before
bro.
we wrap up? I was going to say, I was begging Sherrick to see if he knew there was like somewhere available to watch the 2 hour cut. I
Sorry, I got
think
something.
there's a world. I think there's a world where there's a good 2 hour cut of this film because apparently it exists. If we watched it, I reckon we could see this film very differently. But
I I have to tell I had to tell you guys something. I was gonna bring this up in my last point, but I want to share this with you. So I was talking to my brother about this. Shout out Zishan if you ever fucking get around to listen to our pod. But like, um, he has a 7 hour cut in French, right? And I looked at him. I go, "You're not gonna watch that?" And he goes, "No, no, I will one day. I will." And I looked at him. And I go, "Shut up. This is what I mean." I go, "You fucking fuck." I looked at him. I go, just be real, man. You know what I mean? Just live yours." Oh my God. Weirdly enough, by the way, when I was watching this film, it reminded me of two things as well. I don't know if you guys got this vibe. It reminded me of Oppenheimer and it reminded me of Hamilton. Hamilton, because of I think because they've got similar stories. The musical and Hamilton, they've
and the
fucking
costumes as well.
a hurricane and the stuff that happened and the story of the revolution and all that. Like I kind of got like Hamilton vibes in that sense from the story part. Oppenheimer in the sense of like the way it's constructed around a central character, but obviously Oppenheimer did it way better. I thought that part of it was interesting. Simon, let's go to the ratings, man. Fuck this shit. Let's get out of here, man.
There's the guy who's only watched Hamilton and Oppenheimer. This,
Yeah, man. This
this
guy
reminded me
MCU
of
Raymond. Oh, that
go on.
boss baby. Oh yeah. Anyway, best part of the show. Best part of the show. All right, guys. Let's quickly get to wrap up. Let's quickly. Okay. Now for the best part of the show. Where would we rank this film? Considering that Macario came at three, The King of Comedy at second, and our current number one, Quo Vadis Ida. Where would we put Napoleon 1927?
Hmm.
I'm gonna give my overall rating on this as a two. I know you guys might be surprised for why it's so high even. I think the sheer technical brilliance and the magic of movie making can't be undersold. But 5.5 hours later, I can't pretend like this film moved me at all, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm gonna go two, and my overall ranking for it, I'd have to put it last, just based on those numbers.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same. I think from a technical aspect, this film may be a five. My enjoyment of it is probably a 0.5. Um, let's just say it evens out at a two, just so the cinephiles don't find out where I live and kill me.
I actually enjoy it way more than you guys, so I'll give it a 3.5 because that technical showcase for 1926. 'Cause this is the same year that talking in cinema happened. It was the same year. So this was like the last big epic of this era of silent cinema. After this
They
year,
should have waited.
after this one, the Jazz Singer came out in 1927, and yeah, the talkies began.
I mean, Al
So
That
Johnson,
for
that's annoyed.
famous
That's
famous
the talkies, what were they
blackface.
called?
Al Johnson did it in blackface in the Jazz Singer, in the talkies.
and you just let that
Oh,
happen,
oh,
Simon.
so that
Yeah,
Simon said Simon was too busy trying to get the next Napoleon made. He's like, guys, when we do Napoleon 2, man, he's like, guys, we've got so many more countries to take over.
yeah. So I'm giving this a 3.5 for its time. For like that's not an easy thing to accomplish. And even if
Yeah,
I've
I
and
respect
my
that.
only my biggest gripe is that yeah, I agree, like it does plateau, but everything that's good about it overpowers what's bad about it, in my opinion. So 3.5 for me.
So
Where
that's a
does this rank?
And
Is this bottom?
that's a three
so that's
overall.
2 to 3.5. So we'll put this below. Put this. You guys enjoyed Macaria more than you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll
Mm.
put this. This has to go 4. Yeah. This has to go 4.
I
Okay,
can't
so
see it moving either.
No,
just
this has
just
to
so
go
we're
4. So that
clear,
would put Quo Vadis Ida number 1, The King of
yeah.
Comedy number 2, Macaria 3, Napoleon 1927 4.
For the actual best part of the show, this is the time of the show where one of us will nominate our own film for whatever reason. Maybe we saw something new this week, or maybe it's in the anniversary of a film we like. Just a reason for us to talk about a film we like and put it in our own Letterboxd 250 list. So by the end of the podcast, if we ever make it 250 episodes, if the cinephiles don't kill us, we'll have our own 250 list and we'll compare it to the actual one. Number one was my pick. Of course, it was Home Alone. Number two is Creed. And number three is High School Musical 3. This week, Sharek is your pick. Your last pick was Creed. Can you top it this week?
I think I might be able to. I'm gonna be going with maybe the best comedy of the entire 2010s, right? The most underrated film of the entire 2010s for sure as well. I'm going, of course, with 2018's classic Game Night.
Game night. Yes!
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I had that in my opinion as well.
Come on.
That was my opinion
Yeah,
as well.
because you know I double checked through the list
That's
to make sure
crazy.
it wasn't on the list, and I was shocked it wasn't on the
That is
list actually because
insane.
I would have thought Letterboxd would definitely have put this on the list. But I mean, listen, it's one of the funniest films I've ever seen. It holds up incredibly well. I don't know when's the last time you guys rewatched it, but it's so funny. Some of the best performances of like from everybody in that film is banging. Even something as dumb as the joke of, "Oh, I slept with Denzel Washington." That's one of the fucking great bits in all of this shit. Like, it's packed with 15 different jokes a minute. Even the central premise is ridiculous. It's a beautiful story between like a husband and wife who genuinely love each other. There's a genuine like. Sometimes you watch these films and the wife would be like, "It's dumb that you love games so much." Like she's just as much into it. There's that real romance to it. It's a great film. Dexter's the bad guy. Do you know what I mean? It's so good on so many levels. And I can't give this anything but my highest recommendation. I would personally, because I know the question you're going to ask next, Kyle, not to preempt you, I would personally put this number one on our total list. Me personally.
Simon, do you want to add anything?
No, one of the best films of all time, honestly. That's like peak comedy. That is really genuinely peak comedy. Everything's so tight knit. Nothing feels out of place. No bloat, no plateauing. Everything just moves along so well.
Did you just discover the word plateau today?
I
I've
feel
said
like
it
he did.
3 times now, haven't I? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've said it 3 times.
some might say his use is about to plateau. But anyway,
Killed it,
I
man. Killed
remember.
it, killed it.
I think Simon. I think you might have watched it before me, and I remember you saying how much you liked it, and then I went in with semi-high expectations, and I don't think so quickly into a film could I just take a sigh of relief because I knew it was going to be good from like the opening scene. Like even like they had the Warner Brothers credits with the puzzle pieces, just little touches like that. And I think the writers of one of the directors had worked on Spider-Man: Homecoming as well.
They
Like
wrote
Yeah.
Spider-Man
they
Homecoming.
wrote on the script. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think it's firing on all cylinders. Like you said, the cast. My controversial opinion, and like I sound stupid when I say it, but I stand by it. Jesse Plemons deserved an Oscar nomination because that is one of the
Best
funniest
best supported
performances.
for sure.
Genuinely, and I'm
Yeah.
not being ironic when I say that. Like, if Melissa McCarthy, who was great in Bridesmaids, could get an Oscar nom, he's better in this than she is. Uh,
Danny Jr. got one for Tropic Thunder. He's better in this. Fucking I just forgot his name now. Uh
Plemons.
sorry, thank God. Jesse Plemons is better in this film than Robert Downey Jr. is in Tropic Thunder, which is also a great performance, but this is like I agree with you. How could that possibly be profitable for the free-to-play company? he's just, he's
Um,
so he's so good.
every joke has a payoff. Even jokes you don't realize are going to have a payoff. They just tie up that they plant little seeds at the start. And even throwaway jokes, like there's one with like he goes, "Oh, this looks like Iron Man's house." And he goes, "Yeah, come to Jarvis." And he goes, I understood the Iron Man bit, but then you got too nerdy for me." Like just little, just throwaway jokes like that just kill me every time. I think Kyle Chandler is very good in the film as well. Um, I have no qualms putting this top. Simon,
No, probably yeah, number one easily.
Yeah,
it's
I
going to be hard
agree.
to move.
I'll be honest with you. This was one of those ones where when I was thinking about what I was gonna pick this week, I was like, has because I know it means so much to all of us, and like we can get if we can spread the gospel on this, this will be very hard to move. But I look forward to seeing what Simon comes with next week. Yeah,
Yeah.
number one for me with a bullet. Thank you guys for joining us this week in our episode of Napoleon. It was the best of times. It was mostly the worst of times if you ask two of the other members of this group, but it is
More
what
like
it
go and
is.
take a Napoleon.
Nah, see, you know
End
the
the
worst
show
thing
right
is,
now.
yeah, I'll be trying. You know, I knew he had one of the. I knew he had a fucking Napoleon in him somewhere. And I knew he was gonna try and bring it for the end of the show. No, sirree. Thank you guys for joining us as always. We've been the CineLads. Next week we are doing A Moment of Innocence, a film from 1996. We'll see you then. Bye.